Okay, so I wanted to go over a little bit how to modify these videos to be able to use them in your local market and send traffic and leads. Now, the first thing you'll notice is at the end of each of the videos, we usually go back to Mike here, and it says contact us now, and there's a whole bunch of blank space down here. Now, this blank space was left there purposely for a couple of reasons. One is we can actually literally type in a phone number, and you can use whatever editing software you're using. You can just use the text tool that they have built in. In my case, I'm using Final Cut Pro, but you can do this in pretty much any software. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of the text tools here, and I'm just going to drop it in right here. And you can see it's a basic 3D object. Final Cut Pro's got these new 3D things, so they're kind of hip and new, so we do use those quite a bit. And then all you have to do is put in whatever the phone number is, so 888-555-1234. Okay, so then once we have our phone number, we can just put it in here, and of course we can resize it to make sure that it fits, change the colors and all that kind of fun stuff. So in this case, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to maybe change this to, let's go with maybe a plastic. I'll just go with a color like this just to have some fun with it. We'll resize it just a little bit, make it a little bit smaller so it's not on top of him. So there you go. That's the basics of how to get your phone number in here at the end. Now, of course, there's some other options as well. So if we were to get rid of that for a moment, another thing that you can do is you can actually put a graphic in here, and that graphic would get people to click as opposed to call. So that would get them to the website. So if we grabbed a graphic, such as this one here that says click to schedule an appointment, we can grab that, drop that in here. Okay, and then all you have to do is in whatever program you're using is resize, switch that to transform instead of crop, resize this down, place it where you'd like, and so now you've got a clickable button that you can add. All you have to do is when you go into YouTube is turn that into a clickable button. And of course the other thing we can do with that is, let's go back here to where this starts, because we're going to want that to start right when he's talking there. And we'll clip that down. Now what we can do is throughout the rest of the video, if we like, and this is something that I do quite a bit, is take that same graphic and just resize it down a little bit smaller and just put it in the corner of your video. So now your entire video has this graphic in it. Of course, we don't want it over his head, but you get the idea. So maybe we'll put it at the bottom corner here. So now throughout this entire video, people have the option of clicking and scheduling their appointment. Okay, so that's just a couple of the things that you can do with graphics and with text to be able to get people to click through or to call you in your business. Now, there is another option that you can go with. Okay, so I've got one of the videos already here on YouTube. You can actually do an annotation. Now, there are some limitations for this. For instance, people can turn annotations off, which would make it not usable. But if they have annotations on, this is an easy way to be able to change this at any time. All you would have to do is come in here, hit Add Annotation, do Title, type in your phone number, okay, and then of course you'd want to resize that down. Take that, move that over to here somewhere. Okay, and so now you've got your phone number on the screen here. And the great thing is, if you're using this with a client, the client doesn't pay, well, you can call the next guy and just simply change the phone number, and now you've still got your video ranked, you've got a new phone number for it. And the final thing that I highly recommend, and this will help you out, especially if you're doing things like leasing it out, is to get a tracking number. Now, I use a site called Twilio, and what I do is I actually come in here and I create phone numbers. So for instance, this one here is for a Roy, Utah PI lawyer. And then all we have to do is forward this number to the client. And if the client changes, for instance, if we're sending it to one Roy PI lawyer and he goes out of business, he decides to move, he just doesn't want to pay anymore, well, you can go find another lawyer and just point this number back to a new client. And that way you can always have a phone number in the video, and it won't matter if your client changes because the phone number is just a tracking number and you can forward it to whomever you want. So if the client changes, you just change it to their number and now they're receiving the leads instead of the other person. So that's just a couple of tips on how to modify your videos to be able to send traffic to a local business.